Hi there, it's Gary here from King of Flash. Now I wanted to share with you today some useful tips on what not to do when the cartridge in your printer shows cartridge not recognized. However, before we get into all that, let's go through some of the frequently asked questions our customers email us. One of the questions we get asked a lot is, why does our cartridge look different? Well, don't panic. When you notice that the cartridge has got a slightly different shape or chip from the previous one, or it seems different from Epson's, this is all quite normal, as different factories tend to make some slight changes to their designs to avoid design right issues. From time to time, customers email us saying the cartridge won't work or won't fit in the printer. So, before you open the packaging, please check that the number on the cartridge matches the one you previously had in your printer. Epson has so many cartridges these days, and they all look alike with similar numbers imprinted on them, so don't worry, it's an easy mistake to make. Check that the number on the top of the cartridge matches the one you currently have inside your printer. Sometimes we get asked why the printer model is not listed on the box. Well, you may get your cartridge in a box or loose in a padded envelope. Either way, don't worry, as both methods keep the cartridge completely safe. Now, a cartridge may work with, say, 10 or more printer models, yet this may not be indicated on the cartridge box because, well, the factory can't print so many models on a little box, or because it's a new printer and the box was printed in bulk before it came out. The best way is to always double check the cartridge code matches the one you need. Let's talk about cartridge capacity. Now, Epson sells standard versions and XL versions of the cartridges. The XL is usually twice the capacity, but here at King of Flash, we only sell XL versions, which sometimes have even more than other brands' XL. So for comparison, the Epson 29XL model is 11.3 milliliters in the black and 6.4 milliliters in color, whereas ours is 18.2 milliliters and 14 milliliters for black and colored respectively. Now remember, this is just an example and each model varies. Many of you probably already know how to change the cartridge on the printer, but let's quickly go over the steps now. Usually you'll get a message on the printer asking you to follow the instructions on the printer to move the cartridge holder so you can change the cartridge. Simply tear the yellow strip and put the cartridge into the printer. Be careful not to touch the chip. Whether you have the cartridge with the chip or not, know that both work the same way and fit into the holder in the same way. Don't be too concerned whether there's a clip or not. As long as the cartridge codes match, you'll be fine. If you get a message stating the cartridges are non-genuine, don't worry, simply click OK or Yes to continue and use the cartridges as normal. Remember, these are compatible, so you will get this message from the printer. Now, going back to what not to do when you get a cartridge not recognized error, the first thing we advise is not to mix original with compatible. This is because the information on the chips will be mismatched and you'll likely have constant ink not recognized problems. It's actually quite common for these errors to occur with compatibles in general. However, usually the messages can be overcome following these steps. Make sure you have the correct cartridges, as explained earlier on. Make sure you're not mixing compatible with originals. Remove the cartridge and try the insert cycle again. If the error persists, simply remove all the cartridges from the printer and wipe the chips with a cloth or paper towel. Then please turn off the printer button and disconnect it from the mains for a few minutes. After a while, turn it back on and reinsert the cartridges, putting them in black one first. Now, in most cases, this solves the issue, but you may need to do this more than a few times for it to work. If the ink cartridges are still not recognized, I advise you to put your old cartridge back into the printer and leave it there for about 10 minutes so the printer recognizes the ink. Afterwards, you can try replacing it again with the new cartridge. Well, by now, 95% of the time the error has gone and you can print. But in some cases the error may still persist, and in this case I advise you to try inserting another cartridge if you have one available and see if that works. If not, simply contact us by emailing us at help@kingofflash.co.uk. Remember, we provide a no-quibble money-back guarantee if your cartridge doesn't work. Now before we go, I'd like to share with you one final tip. Now if you get lines on your printouts or light coloured printouts, you may need to perform a head clean via settings. Simply go to the settings menu, then maintenance, and perform a printer head clean. You may need to do this once or even a few times to completely get rid of the problem, especially if you've not used the printer for a long time. And finally, we want to thank you sincerely for your custom. I mean, we know that you've got a lot of choices out there on where to buy your ink, and we really do appreciate you choosing us. You know, we're a small, family-run British company, so you can always be completely assured of a very fast and super friendly service. Now, if you've got any questions at all, please don't hesitate to get in touch. I promise you that we're going to be very happy to hear from you, and we'll help you however we can.